Todd, is there any message for the media tomorrow? Sometimes when the Kings stroll through town, they like to pump something out, whether it's Kopitar's not getting enough love, Doughty should win the Norris. There's you kind of like sometimes the Western teams come rolling through and there's a message they want to pound out. Is there anything coming tomorrow?
Well, we just want to remember that you guys remember that we're part of the league way out west. I know you don't get to see us a whole lot at,
I hear you.
Midnight, but yeah, we're part of the league, and we feel like we have some pretty good players, but it's up to us to prove that tomorrow.
Yeah, you're definitely a part of the league, and that Pacific Division is we give a lot of attention to it. I'm sure you're not surprised by this, Todd. Generally, it's the team in Western Canada, right? The Oilers, the Flames. The Canucks, but also the Cup champs come out of your division, the Vegas Golden Knights. They're off to a great start. You guys just saw them over the weekend. Like, is it too early for you to be even focusing on what the other teams in your division are doing, or is it just simply focusing on your own team at this point?
Well, I think I'd be lying if I said we don't take a peek and aren't aware of what other teams are doing, but we have to focus on what we're doing right now. We haven't reached the double-digit game mark yet. We are a work in progress. We've got some things that we need to clean up, and then we've got some pleasant surprises. So I think it's still early enough to say that most teams are worrying about their own backyard and trying to put good games together consistently. And as the season goes by, we'll start looking where everybody's ending up and how we're going to reel teams in if we can or stay ahead of others.
Todd, you mentioned some pleasant surprises. What would that might be? Young players step forward, guys take expanded roles that you thought would take time?
Exactly. I think those are obviously the most obvious surprises. Alex Laferriere, a guy that we didn't really have on our radar this year. We thought he would need a little bit more time. He's been a tremendous young player for us coming in and filling Arvidsson's shoes, if you will, when he got injured. But even team-wise, we've produced more offense than we thought we would. And that's doing it with a power play that isn't quite clicking yet, so we're happy with that. Goaltending, I know our numbers don't show it, but Cam Talbot has come in, and he's been a real good addition to our team right now. He's given us some real good nights when we needed it. And I'm not saying that's a surprise, but it's something that we're counting on this season. And then there's others, but right now those are the few.
When you talk about cleaning stuff up, does that drive you nuts? Like, you got a pretty veteran team, but it seems like all coaches, whether it be once a month, I know the Oilers have had some struggles, Calgary as well. Like, when you get to that cleaning up stuff with a veteran team, does it drive you nuts as a coach, or do you understand that regardless of how long guys have been in the league, there's always going to be that element?
Well, I think a little bit of both. It drives you nuts because you spend a lot of time and energy on it, and you think you just got over the hump and crack creeps in again, and you're starting over again. But I think the game has changed a little bit. I think that so many of the players in the lineup right now view themselves as offensive players, and there's nothing wrong with that. The makeup of rosters are different. The toughness on your fourth line is getting a little bit thinner. It's filled in with guys that think they're 20, 25 goal scorers. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. You get into the car, you drive to the game, and you want to score a goal. But there's two sides to the puck, or to the game, pardon me. There's game management skills that early in the year are a little erratic. And it is a long year, but the quicker you get to polishing up the details, the better chance you have at making the playoffs, making them comfortably, and then having success later on.
We're chatting with Todd McLellan, the head coach of the Kings. Kings in town playing the Leafs tomorrow night. And, you mentioned the veterans, the faces of your organization for better part of 15 years have been Kopitar and Doughty. And there's been a lot of turnover beyond them, but Kopitar's off to a good start. He's got a point a game, 4 goals already. Doughty's already got 4 goals in 8 games. Like, how much relief can that be for you, Todd, and your staff when you're trying to introduce, new players, turnover, and you can look at 2 guys with 2 cup rings that have been there that long? They, I'm sure, are taking young players under their own wings.
They certainly are. They've done that, since I've been here, and obviously well before that. They are still outstanding players, production-wise, minute-wise, detail-wise. We're very fortunate to have them. And they're not stale. They don't they're not just putting in time. They want to win again, and they're willing to give up a little bit to do it. So real good leadership. And let's face it, if we didn't get that from these two players, we have almost a quarter of our cap tied up in them. Our organization would be in trouble. So they're delivering on a nightly basis, and we're real fortunate to have them.
Todd, by my math, I think this is year 16 as a head coach in the National Hockey League, not including, I think, 5 in the minors and a couple as an assistant as well. What is the biggest difference you've seen over time here since when you took over a National Hockey League team to where you're at right now?
Well, I think hockey's kind of matched the world where there's some things that are accepted and unaccepted now that weren't in the past, and there's nothing wrong with that. Players have a bigger voice. They are much stronger as individuals and as a group. So that's the part away from the game and in the locker room and on the ice. I mentioned earlier when we were speaking that I think there's a way more of an offensive attitude that players show up with. I think the skill development in individuals and collective pairs and groups of players is way beyond what we used to have in Houston Noodles when you were there. I think that the goaltending is a little more advanced.
A lot better when I was there, put it that way, Todd.
Well, we were very fortunate to have a young goaltender, Noodles, when you were there, and you did a real good job for us.
There you go. There's a little tire pump on the way out. We love it.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Good job, Noodles.
Yeah, attaboy, Noodles. Your heyday in Houston. We'll never forget it.
Exactly.